My name is Paul Pozar. I live in Seward, Pennsylvania. I'm 78 years old. 11 years ago, I decided to take a walk up the highway, which I did hundreds of times. Before I left, my wife asked me to check the mail. So I checked the mail, hollered in the door to her, no mail, and off I went on a walk. I've done this walk many, many times. As I was walking up the highway, the next thing I remember is being on the ground. I know I'm down on the ground because I can see dirt all around me. I propped myself up on my elbow, and there was a friend of mine there whom I reached up to and asked him to help me get up. Help me get up. And then everything went black. I mean, pure black. After that, I remembered a hand on my left shoulder. And when that hand touched my left shoulder, I knew I was going to be okay. I'm going to quote you from mostly what state police told me and what doctors told me, because I had no memory of even being hit. According to the state police, young fella, just got a job in the coal mine, worked a couple hours overtime. This was like 9:45 in the morning. He worked a couple hours overtime. On his way home from work, he fell asleep, came around a turn, and I was walking up the highway on the left-hand side, facing the traffic. He come around a turn, fell asleep, come around a turn, and the state police figured he was doing between 50 and 60 miles an hour when he hit me. When he hit me, he threw me up on the hood of his car, and that pretty much did the back of my head in. Then he hit the guardrail. That threw me off the car, up in the air. I come down on a guardrail post, which did a lot of damage, put a big hole in my chest. I'm cut from probably one armpit to the other. I'm cut from the middle of my chest almost to my belly button. And my left ankle was all torn off. They had to refill that with skin off of my hips. My left arm had a degloving. It was all cut off, and they had to sew it all back on. The back of my head was pretty much smashed up, and they had to put it all back together. I broke 2 bones in my back. One of the vertebrae was cracked. The other one, the bottom half of the vertebrae, was broke completely off. When they got me to the hospital, they figured there was nothing they could do for me. The one doctor there was a terrific doctor. He was a full colonel in the United States Army Reserve. He had been to Afghanistan and Iraq 5 or 6 times, and he figured he was going to work on me. In the meantime, the hospital called the state police and reported a fatality. That's how bad a shape I was in. Well, anyway, when they got to working on me and everything, I was in intensive care for a week. I woke up, and my wife was there when I woke up. I knew I was in a hospital room. I didn't know why. And when I asked her, she told me what had happened. The doctors had told her if I survived, I would be a vegetable, or I would die from infection because the way my insides were open to the outside air. All the front of my chest, all the muscles were all ripped and torn. They couldn't do anything with them. They cut them all out and just attached what was left to my ribs. Well, I was in the hospital in intensive care for a week. They had to make a special brace to put on. I had to have this special brace on. If I was 35 degree up in bed, I had to have the brace. And if I got out of bed, I had to have the brace and 2 people with me at all times. So I was in intensive care for a week. They got the brace, got it fixed on. They put me in a hospital room. I was in there for a week. I started to walk a little bit. They sent me to the Crichton Center, which is for rehab. People at the Crichton Center do a great job, but I think they were a little bit afraid of me. I think they were afraid that if they dropped me, if I fell, there'd be a problem. My wife, that would come to the hospital every day and help me get the brace on. And then she would get me out of bed and we would walk. Well, I was in the Crichton Center for 2 weeks. I was doing a whole lot of putting nuts on bolts, which I did for 35 years, and I felt that was good enough. I wanted to go home. So after 2 weeks at the Crichton Center, they sent me home. And I had a nurse come in from the hospital every day. They had to change all my dressings and everything. I don't know how long that went on, a couple weeks. I had to make trips back to the plastic surgeon to get everything back together looking halfway decent. After that, why, I just started walking, and pretty much here I am today.